Have you ever felt a chill crawl down your spine for no apparent reason? A sense of being watched when you're alone? Perhaps a fleeting whisper that you dismiss as the wind, but lingers just long enough to sow a seed of doubt? These are the subtle harbingers of the unseen, the whispers from beyond the veil. Tonight, we delve into the chilling account of the Blackwood family and their encounter with a presence that defied explanation. We'll explore a haunting that didn't just rattle the foundations of their Victorian manor, but shattered the very fabric of their reality. This story is compiled from information and tales found across the internet. It's a tale of unseen forces, of echoing footsteps, and of a terror that seeped into the very walls of their home. Before we begin, consider this. What if your home, your sanctuary, was invaded by something else? Something that knew your fears, preyed on your vulnerabilities, and reveled in the descent into madness? Are you brave enough to listen? The Blackwoods, a family of 5 parents, Edward and Clara, and their 3 children, Emily, Thomas, and little Lily, had arrived at Blackwood Manor seeking a respite from their city life. The manor, perched atop a windswept hill overlooking the vast, desolate countryside, was a dream come true for Clara, who had always yearned for a life in the country. Initially, the house seemed to offer everything they desired: space, tranquility, and an undeniable sense of history. But the initial charm soon began to fade. It started subtly. Doors would creak open and slam shut. Despite being securely latched, objects would disappear and reappear in different places. Emily, the eldest at 16, was the first to voice her unease. "Mom, I swear my music box moved by itself again," she'd say, her voice laced with a nervous tremor. Thomas, a skeptical teenager, brushed it off as drafts or the house settling. But even he started to notice the oddities. Whispers, like a breath against the ear, would drift through the halls, just out of reach of understanding. Lily, the youngest, a sensitive child of 7, was the most affected. She began to sleepwalk, her face contorted in expressions of fear, whispering to an unseen playmate. One evening, Edward, while working in his study, heard a distinct knock at the door. When he opened it, there was no one there, just an icy draft that swept through the room. Extinguishing the candles, he dismissed it as a trick of the wind. But the occurrences increased in frequency and intensity. The temperature in certain rooms would plummet. Shadows would dance in the periphery of their vision. A chilling scent of burnt almonds, a classic sign of cyanide poisoning, would permeate the air. The family, once unified in their excitement, began to fracture, their nerves frayed by the relentless and unexplained events. The house, once a sanctuary, had become a prison. The activity escalated. The whispers grew louder, morphing into distinct voices that called out their names. Lily, particularly, became a target. Toys would fly across her room. Her drawings would be torn to shreds, and scratch marks would appear on her skin overnight. One night, she screamed, a high-pitched, terrified shriek that echoed through the silent house. Rushing to her room, Edward and Clara found her huddled under her bed, eyes wide with terror, clutching a tattered doll. "He touched me," she stammered, her voice trembling. "He told me I was his." Thomas, initially skeptical, began to experience events himself. During a late-night study session, books flew off his shelves, scattering pages across the room. A heavy desk drawer slammed shut, trapping his fingers. He tried to rationalize it, blaming the old building and drafts. But the intensity of the events was undeniable. Then came the physical attacks. Clara was pushed down the stairs, suffering a sprained ankle. Edward was slapped across the face, leaving a red handprint that mysteriously appeared even after he washed his face with water. The house seemed to feed on their fear, growing more aggressive with each passing day. Emily, burdened by the unsettling events, started recording the strange activities using a tape recorder, hoping to have proof of what they were experiencing. She was plagued by nightmares of shadowy figures, whispering voices, and a pervasive sense of dread. One night, the family gathered in the living room, trying to stay calm, when a vase shattered against the wall, sending shards of porcelain flying in their direction. The fear in the room was palpable. Desperate, Edward contacted a local paranormal investigator, a man named Dr. Alistair Finch. Dr. Finch, a seasoned professional, spent several days at Blackwood Manor, attempting to document and understand the phenomena. He employed various methods: EMF meters, thermal imaging cameras, and EVP, electronic voice phenomena, recording devices. What he captured was terrifying. He recorded whispers, groans, and unintelligible voices that seemed to originate from within the walls themselves. His EMF meters spiked erratically, particularly in Lily's room. Thermal imaging revealed cold spots, pockets of intense cold that would move around the house seemingly at random. He observed objects levitating and moving across rooms during one session. While he and Edward were in the study, a heavy antique bookshelf crashed to the ground, narrowly missing them. Dr. Finch determined that the source of the disturbances was a poltergeist, possibly triggered by the emotional turmoil of Lily. He advised the family to try to maintain a calm environment, to avoid conflict and negative emotions. But the advice was impossible to follow. The fear had taken root. The house felt alive, watching, and feeding on their dread. One evening, Dr. Finch, while setting up his equipment in the attic, disappeared. His colleagues reported that he went into the attic and never came out. His equipment, however, still continued to record audio, capturing the sounds of violent struggling and a final, chilling scream. After several hours, the remaining members of the investigation team searched the attic, only to find Dr. Finch had simply vanished. No signs of a struggle, no broken windows, nothing. The only trace of his presence was the lingering scent of burnt almonds. Dr. Finch had become another victim of the Blackwood Manor. The Blackwood family, driven to the brink of madness, finally fled their home, leaving behind everything they owned. They never looked back, and the house, according to local legends, remains empty to this day, its walls still whispering the names of those who dared to dwell within. The events at Blackwood Manor remain a chilling testament to the power of the unseen, the fragility of the human mind, and the terrifying reality of poltergeist phenomena. The story of the Blackwoods experience serves as a grim reminder that some doors, once opened, are impossible to close. Their desperate flight, their shattered lives, serve as a chilling warning. The Blackwood Manor is a chilling reminder that sometimes, the only way to survive the shadows is to run. But the echoes linger. They always do. If this story has sent a shiver down your spine, if you felt the hair on the back of your neck stand on end, then you understand the power of the unseen. Are you brave enough to share your own stories? Have you ever experienced something that defied explanation? A shadow in the corner of your eye? A whisper in the dark? Let us know in the comments below. Share your experiences, your theories, and your fears. Subscribe to our channel for more chilling tales from the edge of reality. Share this video with your friends, if you dare. And remember, the next time you find yourself alone in a quiet house, be mindful of the whispers. They might just be calling your name.